Tonight on WFA Reborn, General Manager Scott Reed and Brandon Locke finally settle the score in a 6-man tag. Plus, fan favorite Keon goes one-on-one with world-class Channing Thomas. Let's not waste any more time, let's get to it! Contest is scheduled for Welcome back to another great episode of WFA Reborn. World-class Channing Thomas. A great showing recently against the undefeated Aaron Rourke. Looking for a W to get some momentum here in the WFA. As I've mentioned before, a well-traveled wrestler capturing gold everywhere he goes. There's a reason he's called world-class. It looks like he's made a couple of fans here in the WFA already. And it looks like we're going to hear from the man himself, ladies and gentlemen, before we kick off tonight.
You must have hit the lottery, huh? There's a lot of great wrestlers in WFA. There's some guys with a WWE ID contract, but world class is not one of those, huh? Well, I'm a history maker. I'm a trendsetter. Everyone follows in world class's lead, and that's why I would like to officially announce that world class is the first ever WFA guaranteed contract.
I've heard about
You
this.
gotta get used to this pretty face because it's not going anywhere.
Wait, what price?
This one right here. And with that contract, it includes a guaranteed WFA Heavyweight Championship. Thank you very much.
I'm not sure about the details of the
Go
contract.
away, please. Thank you.
I haven't read the thing.
I read this contract front to back. Well, my agent did when he drafted it up. Why are you booing me? This is a historical moment. You should be on your knees, bowing to world class.
The crowd not too excited about this announcement. World-class trash.
On page 276, Article 3, Section D, it says if anyone chants world-class trash, they will be escorted from the building. Thank you.
Now, I haven't read the contract, but I definitely know that that's not there.
You people wouldn't know a superstar if it's bigger on the bottom. You are looking at a generational talent, a trendsetter, a history maker, an era setter. You are looking at world-class
And wait a minute here, it looks like we got a little interruption. If anyone deserves a guaranteed contract here in the WFA, Keon would definitely be at the top of that list. This man pours his heart out there each and every time, has come so close to winning WFA Championship gold, has this Concord crowd solidly behind him each and every time he steps between those ropes. I think the man has had enough of Channing Thomas's chit-chat, and it's time to put up or shut up. And again, I can't defend anything that Channing Thomas has said. I have not read that contract. The width of that contract seems a little ludicrous if you ask me, but who knows in the world of professional wrestling. Phenomenal way to kick things off here on WFA Reborn. I gotta bring up next week, ladies and gentlemen, it's a big one. A night of champions as the women's championship is on the line. Luscious Latasha will go one-on-one with Vile, and the one we've been waiting for, WFA Heavyweight Championship. Mosh Pit defends against WWE ID Superstar Gull. Those are going to be two phenomenal contests you don't want to miss. Make sure you subscribe, but right now, bell has rung. We are underway. Keon taking on world-class Channing Thomas. Locking horns here to great contest. And our main event, ladies and gentlemen, is a big one as well. Six-man tag team action. Brandon Locke, with two partners of his choosing, will go head-to-head with WFA GM Scott Reed and the tag team champions Brick City. A very personal situation that has been stewing for months, and it all comes to a head here tonight. Channing Thomas now, hip toss, sending Keon for the ride. You can't argue with Channing Thomas's credentials. You can't argue with his skill set. The only thing maybe not going for him is his bravado, his ego. And he can show off all he wants, but Keon's going to show off his moves, and he's going to try to shut up the mouth of Channing Thomas here. The crowd voicing their opinions on what they just saw from Thomas. Trying to will Keon on in this thing. Still in the early get-go of it. Locking horns, trying to trade. Who's in control? Little arm drag there from Keon now, sending Thomas for a ride for a second time with a hip toss. And now, body slam. How's that for world class? As Keon returns the favor there with a little cartwheel of his own, one-upping Channing Thomas. And for a man with such a big ego, you know he's not going to be a big fan of that. Keon with the waist lock, trying for a little suplex perhaps, but Thomas has to scout it and gives a couple of shots to take control of this thing. Now it's got plans, sending Keon somewhere. No, reverse. And Channing Thomas, world class himself, skinning the cat back in the ring. But Keon ready for him and sends him for a ride to the outside. Sometimes you gotta put your ego in check and focus on the match. You're in combat, Channing Thomas, and you don't want to take your eyes off Keon. No, a very formidable opponent. One of the top stars here in the WFA. Like I've said before, challenging multiple times and coming so close to that WFA heavyweight golds. Looking to get back in contention. He's already got another win after coming off such a dramatic loss. And bring Channing Thomas back in the hard way with a suplex cover. But Thomas able to kick out, but looks to be in a world of pain. And the crowd loving every second of Channing Thomas's anguish, and Keon looks to be having a good time as well. Finally getting that waist lock he was looking for earlier. Is he going to? No. Channing Thomas want none of it. Getting driven into the corner instead. Folks, WFA Reborn has just been picking up steam episode after episode. Thoroughly impressed with all of the talent here. We have seen back-to-back so many great matches of Channing Thomas now with that sidekick taking care of Keon. 1, 2. Keon getting the shoulder up as Channing Thomas now in control of this thing. But yes, the level of competition has been increasing tenfold. And I cannot wait to see as things continue to heat up here. Remember, next week, so many championship matches. We've got a phenomenal main event, so you don't want to miss that one either. And that crowd eating Channing Thomas alive and perhaps seems to be getting to him a little bit here. Very confident in his abilities. As he instead taking his aggressions out on Keon. Through here, looking for a short right and a devastating clothesline in the corner, followed by a neck breaker. Silencing his critics in the process. We've got a cover on Keon. 2 in. Still with a kick out there with authority. Using his legs to sway his body's momentum to get that shoulder up. Channing Thomas loving every second of being in control of this thing. Oh, just sizing up Keon and just drilling that boot into the midsection. He's really playing with this crowd here tonight, looking for the attention. I think that size of that contract speaks for itself for the man looking for attention here in the WFA. Channing Thomas absolutely enjoying this thing as Keon is in a lot of trouble here and needs to bounce back from this flurry of offense. Nothing pretty about it, just shots to the midsection, to the face, boots, punches, anything Thomas can do to keep Keon down. But it looks like it ain't going to be for long as Keon now fighting up to his feet, trading shots, and you don't want to trade shots with Keon. This man gets absolutely fired up, and when he does, there's nothing that can stop him. Keon now sending Thomas to the ropes. Thomas, though, had it scouted, and a kick again to Keon's shoulder area now. And Thomas drilling him with an elbow to the chest. And a second one now. Channing Thomas calls himself world class, fully in the driver's seat of this one. Now a third elbow drop, going for the cover once again. Keon, though, still very much alive in this thing. Folks, if you want to find out how to catch us live in action here in Concord, New Hampshire, make sure you go to WFAWrestling.com or, of course, on all your social media channels. And make sure you follow us there to keep up to date with everything going on in the world of WFA. As the crowd now really getting behind Keon, really trying to will him onto this thing. He's been on the receiving end of a lot of damage. He's going to need to dig deep there. He's in a lot of trouble now as Channing Thomas drives an elbow into the top of the head there. Keon. Nowhere to go. Center of the ring here. Referee checking in on him. But Channing Thomas again looking too much to the crowd perhaps. And that could be his downfall. Gotta egging on the crowd here. Keon back up to his feet. Breaking the grip of Thomas and a nice elbow to the midsection there. Catching Thomas off guard. Keon sending Thomas to the ropes. No one said we get the reversal. Keon eating the buckle. But Thomas eating an elbow. Keon, the fight lives on. This man never gives up. Oh, driven to the mat there. Wonder if these shots have knocked Keon loopy. He really seems to be off his game here tonight. Or perhaps just the wear and tear of being a professional wrestler. Never mind, there's the fire. Keon egging Thomas to hit him with another. Now back to trading shots here. Keon can trade with the best of them. firing away on Thomas now. Nothing pretty, lefts and rights. Now, shooting Thomas though, again getting reversed. There we are, clothesline, taking Thomas down in a second one. Keon is feeling it. Fired up, backdrop, back suplex, yes. Keon now taking some time, struggling to get to his feet though. Those shots must have done a number. When you get rocked like that from a professional wrestler, it is hard to regain your composure and focus on the match, but Keon here gaining some valuable time back. Thomas back up to his feet, eating that sling blade face buster. 1, 2, and Thomas able to kick out though. Keon back in control. Again, just valuable time to regain himself here. Very much needing it. Thomas struggling up, finally getting that waist lock in. Are we going to see him throw? Yes! German suplex, and it looks like he's going to hang on and dish out a second one. Thomas now in a lot of trouble. Eating a third, there we are. Keon evening this thing out now. Great offense. A trifecta of German suplexes, dropping Thomas on his head, and now World's Class is looking a little bit more like what the fans were calling him earlier. Keon now with an elbow, looking for a roll up here. 2, and Thomas able somehow to roll through that thing. Thomas now in a little bit of control. 2, and no. Both men trading pinning combinations. Keon with a lung blower, and it looks like he may have caught Thomas in the bridge of the nose. Keon now patented kick in the corner coming up. No, Thomas had that thing scouted. But Thomas now drop kicking Keon in the back of the neck. That is a lethal blow, ladies and gentlemen.
This is for my new fans in Concord.
World Class looking to put Keon away here. Oh my goodness, devastating pile driver right on the top of his head. We talked about Keon possibly getting knocked before. And 3, that has done it, ladies and gentlemen. Well, if this man has a guaranteed contract, he just proved why he deserved it. What a win over a top-tier superstar like Keon, a man clutching that contract and rubbing it in the faces of the WFA faithful. World-class Channing Thomas, ladies and gentlemen. Remember the name, you're going to be seeing lots of them. Hopefully Keon's okay, we have officials checking in on him. But before we go to our main event, ladies and gentlemen, let's check out how you can catch the next WFA event. This is the big one, ladies and gentlemen. We have been waiting a long, long time for Scott Reed and Brandon Locke to settle things. And this is how it's gotta get done. There's the man right there, Brandon Locke. It looks like he's chosen his 2 partners to be Dope and Filthy and Miguel Rios. A little backstory. The friendship of Scott Reed and Brandon Locke spans decades from very humble beginnings. Reed managed to travel the world, started a wrestling school, took over WFA. Brandon Locke, he's a phenomenal pro wrestler, but he never really took his career beyond the New England area, and that's not a slight. Locke was a top guy in every promotion, championships everywhere. Locke said it, he was the guy at the top of the cards, just sometimes you have to make choices in life. And Locke stepped back, changed his outlook on life, and he is back now. And he feels like he deserves the spot he stepped away from, being the heavyweight champion. It feels like only one man has gotten in his way, and that is Scott Reed. And Scott Reed's partners now look to be making their way to the ring. The WFA Tag Team Champions, Julio Cruz, Victor Chase, they are Brick City, and they are at the top of the Tag Team division. Their tag continuity, their tenacity, the way they have each other's backs makes them the most formidable tag team in the WFA. But here's the man with the weight of the world on his shoulders, managing the Elite Pro Wrestling Training Center, the WFA, and now this deeply personal situation with Brandon Locke. Looking to settle the score tonight, and that bat is an homage to their trainer, Steve Bradley, who's unfortunately no longer with us. He is worshipped by so many of his trainees, including Scott Reed, including Brandon Locke. And man, this is gonna get personal. This is gonna be so heated. Thank you for joining us for this phenomenal main event, 6-man tag team action. That black bat with the words Mofo on him, that's Steve Bradley's bat. Reed loves to have that around. Carries the torch, so to speak, the legacy of Steve Bradley, along with everything else on his shoulders. And man, Brandon Locke has made this one so personal. I cannot wait to see Reed and Locke go face to face. Oh, what's this now? Brandon Locke has the microphone.
So Scott Reed, you think you outsmarted me? You think you outdid me? You think I'm gonna really have these two losers as my tag team partners?
Oh, wait a minute.
Hold on, what? These are my tag team partners.
Wait a minute, I thought that, Miguel Rios, Dope and Filthy, they've had Brandon Locke's back for weeks now. And instead, what an ace up his sleeve, shot through the heart, ladies and gentlemen. Love Doug, TJ Crawford. We just seen them score a huge victory here on Reborn. A well put together tag team. This is their chance, and perhaps Brandon Locke's plan, manipulating the entire locker room as they bring a steel chair out for Locke. But maybe if you scratch Brandon Locke's back, he'll scratch yours, and he's trying to get shot through the heart, a tag team championship matchup. And a victory indeed may fast track them to that title opportunity. What a curveball here at the last minute. This just got a whole lot more interesting. One of the top tag teams in the area. Formidable opponents for Brick City. And man, look how heated this thing is. Everyone trading words. This thing is about to explode, and look right now. Reed has his bat. Locke has a steel chair in hand. This has got to get settled down. Referee's got to gain control. This is a 6-man tag team match. There will be rules, ladies and gentlemen. It's not no holds barred. This man got to put the weapons down. We got a second official out now to try to calm the situation. My goodness. So much animosity. You can see how personal this thing is. Reed not backing down either. He has been pushed to a corner by Brandon Locke psychologically. He has been psychologically manipulating his students at his wrestling school, and now the locker room, and things are just spilling out here into the ring, and I think this is the only way to get things done, is to settle this in the ring once and for all. Now it looks like tempers have settled a little bit. It looks like we're going to start things off hot here. Brandon Locke and Scott Reed kicking things off as it should be. This is the reason we're all here, ladies and gentlemen. Brandon Locke has been blaming Scott Reed left, right, and center for all his missed opportunities at WFA Gold. And Locke instead tagging in TJ Crawford. Locke again with the mind games, being played on the it factor. The crowd is not happy about that one, not one bit. But regardless, we're going to see a fantastic six-man tag team match. Oh. And now Love Dog tagging in. Looks like we're going to start off with Reed and Love Dog, perhaps. Go. Bell has rung, ladies and gentlemen. We're trying to get things underway here, but Locke is just too much in the head of Scott Reed. That is all that the man has his eyes fixated on. But he will take care of business in the ring as he always does until Brandon gets tagged in. And now he's got to deal with Dope and Filthy on the apron. This is absolutely ridiculous now. The referee's job will not be easy in this one whatsoever. Too many men to watch, too many tempers to control, too many men on the apron perhaps, with everything going on, and it looks like Love Dog now looking to square off with Reed, and now Miguel Rios, come on referee. I think these guys have to get escorted out of here.
Stay down. Don't put your hands on me. Circle back.
Brandon Locke perhaps has backed Scott Reed into this situation. It is 5-on-3 out there tonight. Reed's gonna have his work cut out for him. Love Dog now go behind, trying to get a hit, upper hand on the bigger man, Scott Reed. But Reed knows his way around the ring, into the side headlock now, gaining control of this thing. And Love Dog's head getting squeezed between those massive biceps of the It Factor. And look, they're right there again with the two men, and the referee in plain sight saw that. Come on, ref. Brick City getting involved now. Trying to get those guys backed off before things get worse. This is absolutely ridiculous. And the referee telling him to hit the bricks. Thankfully, this thing will get a little bit better under control. Back to 3-on-3. But Love Dog taking opportunity, having Reed into the corner now, making him eat that turnbuckle. Reed, though, having an answer, sending Love Dog with no room to run, smashing into that turnbuckle and then getting leveled with a clothesline as Reed again with the side headlock now. And we're going to see Julio Cruz getting tagged in from Brick City and an axe handle right into the upper rib area. Cruz now gaining control of this thing. Love Dog in trouble in the corner of Brick City, and Scott Reed a long ways away from making a tag to TJ Crawford or Brandon Locke. Double arm drag. Now Brick City with their tag team maneuvers there. Quite the depth in their arsenal. That's what makes them such great WFA tag team champions, as Victor Chase now takes control, sending Love Dog into the corner and just absolutely pancakking Love Dog, and this crowd loves it. And Love Dog may be regretting making that tag early on just to get in the head of Scott Reed, as he is just eating any and all offense here from Brick City. But Love Dog there, look, taking advantage. Saw a weakness in the game of Victor Chase, making the tag, and things are back on an even playing field now as TJ Crawford steps in on behalf of Shot Through the Heart. But Victor Chase, look at that! What a body slam. And Love Dog getting back in there, but eating one of his own. And Brandon Locke, I don't think, wants nothing to do with Brick City here. Tags in his partner Julio Cruz, and it looks like we're going to see some of that tag team continuity here again. Leveling Crawford in the corner on a boot for good measure. Julio Cruz removing the shirt, hitting the ropes, or what are we seeing here? Are we going to see a little people's elbow action? No, we're getting a splash instead. Beautiful work. Got a cover. Count? No, just a one count. That's all we're going to get from TJ Crawford there. Still very much in this thing. Never hurts to make your opponent work for it, though. With those covers early on in the matchup, and Crawford want nothing to do with Julio Cruz. He needs to catch a little bit of a break here as he gets into the ropes, and the referee separating him. And Love Dog throwing those rose petals, and that's all he needed for TJ Crawford to take advantage with that back elbow. And now here we go. We're going to see how Shot Through the Heart can fare against Brick City. Off the ropes. Oh, nice cross body there. We got a cover. We're referee out of position. Needs a little more time, but still manages to get a 2 count out of Julio Cruz. Caught by surprise. dirty and underhanded tactics here from Love Dog early on as he's now putting the boots to Julio Cruz, and Brandon Locke now feels ready to finally get tagged into this thing. Now that the team fully has things under control, Julio Cruz getting decimated in the corner with those vicious boots. And look there, Love Dog taking advantage while the referee is distracted by Brandon Locke. The real deal, ladies and gentlemen. That's what Brandon Locke calls himself, and you're going to see in the ring why he calls himself that. Cover, count, just 2 counts. Got a tag now to Crawford here. Boot is up. Brandon Locke looking. Drive Julio Cruz face right into it. Crawford now back in. Doing great work here at isolating Julio Cruz, but we've seen that fight before from the champion. Julio Cruz can make an immense comeback from what seems impossible odds. And he's going to have to do just that here tonight as 3 men have isolated him and are picking him apart. And every second counts. Cover again, referee right there for the 1 count. Julio Cruz not giving Love Dog any leeway here to stoke his ego with a 2. Reed and Victor Chase trying to cheer on their partner, trying to get Julio Cruz back in this thing and refocus. But Love Dog with the boots, not having any of it, sending Julio Cruz right back into the corner. Some very, very ugly offense here so far from Shot Through the Heart and the real deal Brandon Locke. They now again just drilling him in the corner, nothing pretty about it. And it looked like Shot Through the Heart there was going to take apart Julio Cruz, but the referee noticed it and caught it right away, stopped them in their tracks. But only for so long. There are so many men to watch in this thing. You see them absolutely choking Julio Cruz. And Victor Chase stepping up for his partner here who needs to make a tag. And now Brandon Locke mocking Julio Cruz, mocking Scott Reed and Victor Chase, and just a simple boot to put Julio Cruz back in his place. And now Brandon Locke going to follow up with a solid body slam. Again, nothing pretty, but Brandon Locke in full control of this thing, physically and psychologically. Reed beside himself, itching for that tag. He has been wanting to settle the score here with Brandon Locke for a very long time, tried to do things politically correct, but Brandon Locke kept pushing the buttons, and now he has snapped and needs to get in the ring with the man. Perhaps humble him, perhaps put him in his place. But either way, seething at the opportunity here to get in the ring with Locke, a former tag team championship partner, a former friend, former ally, former training partner. And Julio Cruz inching towards him with Brandon Locke. Whoa, look, Reed looking for the shot, but Brandon Locke not letting Reed have any of them. But Julio Cruz there, beautiful spine buster. Now, he's got to fully turn around. Reed, seething, frothing at the mouth. This is his chance. Looking for the tag. Julio Cruz inching closer. Brandon Locke shaking off those cobwebs. Are we going to see it, ladies and gentlemen? I think this is it. Julio Cruz makes the tag to Reed, and this is the moment we've all been waiting for, hammering. There it is. Shot after shot after shot. He's got Brandon Locke finally one-on-one here in the ring. Locke going for a clothesline, missing Reed with a flying forearm. Up to his feet, the it factor at Brandon Locke getting out of dodge. Instead, he's going to have to deal with Shot Through the Heart, and he does so. And imposing his will. Love Dog, oh wait there, Scott Reed having it scouted, rolling through. Love Dog coming in though and eating a great power slam from the big man. Brandon Locke getting out of dodge, TJ Crawford eating a move instead. Where is Locke? Locke is the legal man. Crawford though with the boot there. Picking up Reed, classic Love Dog move. Oh, here we go, stomping Reed into the canvas. And wait a minute here, Brick City standing off with Shot Through the Heart. Perhaps a future tag team championship match. I would absolutely love to see that thing, but it looks like we're going to get a little preview here as both teams teeing off on one another. Shot through the heart. Looks like they've got Brick City on the ropes here. No reversal. Oh, I thought they were going to meet head-to-head there. Oh, there it is. Brick City. Oh, driving shot through the heart into each other. And now sending shot through the heart to the outside. There is a reason they are the tag team champions, but wait a minute. Julio Cruz getting pulled down. Victor Chase, much of the same. This thing has spilled into chaos on the outside of the ring. And there's Brandon Locke. And wait a minute there. He's got the baseball bat of Scott Reed of his trainer, Steve Bradley. That mofo bat drove it into the back of the neck of Scott Reed. I can't be this way. No! Oh my goodness! As a commentator, I'm supposed to remain impartial. But what a cowardly, what a disgusting, what a putrid showing of disrespect from Brandon Locke. I can't believe he just pulled that off. He had two men on the outside. He pulled the bait and switch with shot through the heart and used that baseball bat. Such a personal stabbing of a former friend in Scott Reed just to get one up on the man. Let me tell you, Scott Reed is going to feel the effects of that, but Brandon Locke is going to feel the wrath of the it factor. He got one up on him here tonight, but I don't think this thing is over. This thing just got turned up to another level, if anything. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on this awesome, awesome night of action. Don't forget, next week is a Night of Champions. The Women's Championship is on the line. Luscious Latasha defends against Vile, and the one we've been waiting for, WFA Heavyweight Championship Mosh Pit defends against WWID's Gold. You don't want to miss any of it. Make sure you subscribe. We're going to see more in the escalation of this Scott Reed and Brandon Locke situation. We'll catch y'all next week.